So we can start now. I want to start this with this Spooky2 remote small chat we're going to have. To all of you who doesn't know me, my name is James, it's Jaime in Spanish. I live in Mexico. I'm right now I'm 47 years old. I'm a lawyer, but I'm here with the Spooky because life is very, very funny. Sometimes we don't know the path we are going to follow up. And my wife got cancer, and that's why I ended up knowing all these Spooky2 machines and all this Spooky2 equipment. I have a clinic also in Mexico. I run a Spooky2 clinic in Mexico, into which I try to help people with diseases. So I try to do this like a small retribution to the world. And that's basically who I am. I want to talk to you first a little about the rifing, what's rifing. But before that, I just want to tell you in my personal experience that I found Spooky2 a little too late in my journey. My wife sadly passed away from cancer. However, one of her biggest wishes was to help other people, and that's basically the most important thing about this message I'm giving you with this Spooky2 equipment and with this Spooky2 webinar is just give something back to the people to help them. Because if you're here with Spooky2, it's obvious you have an issue. So what I want you is to help you within the best of my chances. So your journey with Spooky is as easy and as smooth as it can be, because sometimes you need help really soon. And sometimes what you don't have is time, okay? So please feel free to ask. Please believe in myself like a friend of yours, and let's start talking, okay? Everybody is ready, it's 7:01, so we can start. Just type in the chat you're ready, please. And there you go, perfect. Well, this webinar is going to be about Spooky2 remote. I'm going to tell you by the very beginning that I love Spooky2 remote. Okay, when I heard about it, I just could not believe that there was something so wonderful like this. Actually, I spoke to China because I didn't understand. No, what's a remote? Is something you're carry on with your body, or how this works? It sounds really creepy and crazy, spooky actually. So I didn't believe about it, and I bought the remotes. And for my surprise, right now, there's almost been 2 years since I have not gone to a doctor. Obviously, I'm not addressing you should not go to a doctor. That's my personal choice. However, Spooky2 has helped me with all the issues in my family, with my kids, with my mom, with myself, with friends, and it's just amazing. So the first thing I want to address you is, what are you going to be doing? Because sometimes you get the notice of what are you doing, but you have not very good idea. So I'm going to talk about what's rifing. Rifing is a technology that takes the name from Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, which was a great scientist who managed to discover that an infallible method to devitalize pathogens like viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Rife was one of the first in the world to use electromagnetic frequencies for therapeutic uses, certainly to the first to use this technology for treatments to treat infectious diseases caused by these pathogens. The modern Rife equipment cannot apply the frequencies for disabling an individual microorganisms like killing frequencies, but also an immense number of frequencies able to provide health benefits and or well-being, healing, detox, and the application of active ingredients like molecular weights. This is something very important, the molecular weight. I'm going to make a small parenthesis because I'm not covering that very in depth in this presentation because it's going to be a big presentation. I'm going to try to cover most of it. Molecular weight is something really, really interesting. It's basically when you try to copy, it will be that word, or use the energy or the frequency of a specific medicine, allopath medicine that you're using, without having to make the dosage to their body. This is really impressive because basically you have all the benefits of that medicine without all the complications that the drugs usually have in our body. It's really impressive. It's really good. I can just said you in advance that I have used with my kids this kind of molecular weight medicines. For being just exact, I use it with Allegra because my kids just have a lot of allergies, and it's just incredible how using the molecular weight of the medicine of the Allegra or Zircam just take away my kids' pain and allergies just as effective as if he was just having the regular drug into his mouth. That's molecular weight. Okay, now continue with the presentation. Rifing means the exposure to these electromagnetic fields characterized by precise frequencies and harmonics by means of various transmission devices which are connected to a Rife machine. What kind of these machines are basically the ones you have, the Generator X, Generator X Pro, or the Generator XMs. Those are the machines that we use. Here you will see a small picture of Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, which he was born on May 16 of 1888. Since his studies on bacteria, he necessitated frequent use of microscopes, so he developed a optics because of his background, and he began to study this field. From 1915 up to 1920, Rife worked in his private laboratory, identifying and classifying the microorganisms that cause many diseases. By the end of 1920, he had begun to work on cancer, which is obviously really important, and it's what got me here. But the limits of the microscope's survival at that time hindered him to discover of the viral cause of the disease. At that time, the standard microscopes were built with an optical lenses, like those manufactured today, that could only enlarge a microorganism up to 2,500 times. Rife felt that this limitation, he could never discover the true cause of many illness, and that's why in 1920 up to 1921, Rife built the first microscope called the famous universal microscope, which was 1,000 times, really important, 1,000 times more powerful than our traditional microscopes. This microscope he was using used a monochromatic light frequency and quartz prism instead of electron beams, which kill microbes. Rife was the first man to observe live microorganisms without killing them. So this guy was a genius. That's basically what we're doing with Rifing. So we are attacking these small microorganisms with frequencies all the time, with hit them one and one more time, until they start to vibrate so much that they are dead. And when they are dead, they usually have a little more bacteria inside. So we need to continue Rifing. And that's basically, if you have heard the famous Hertz, what the Hertz reaction is that. Basically, you are killing, and when you kill, you have more bacteria inside the bacteria, and that's what caused you to start to get sick. And that's basically the process in the body to get rid of all this all the time. Okay. So here are small pictures of Rife. You can see the microscope. So, and some of these impressive shots of the microorganism. His work was based on the principle of coordinate resonance. That's basically that. To explain this principle, one could take example that two tuning forks to set to a same value. The moment one is stimulated, the other tuning fork will start to vibrating on the same frequency. With this, it was possible to devitalize the bacteria without damaging in any way the organs the cells invested, which instead having a much higher resonance frequency. So this is the classic question that everybody asks, like, how a frequency is going to affect these bacteria, this microorganism, and is going not to affect our cells? Well, because that frequency is tuned up for that vibration or that frequency of that bacteria. If we have enough powerful Rife machine with enough power, of course, it could harm us. For our best interest, Spooky2 and all the Rife machines that are there are over there in the world, they have not enough power to harm our cells. They will only harm those small bacteria. Okay. Now, let's talk about the spooky stuff. Why we have this lovely ghost there. When I first got into this Rife world, I found out about Spooky2, and I saw this ghost, and I was, why is there a ghost? You know, why this big of this, and why there is a spooky this name, and everything make a click when I read this. In March 2011, when an experienced Rife user and experimenter Johann Stegman experienced something that changed the course of his life. After buying a new Rife machine, Johann's friends made the stunning claim that the DNA contained in fingernails or hair could transmit energy frequencies directly to the owner of that DNA, simply by placing the samples between the machine electrodes, without applying the usual contacts to the skin for that person. Johann was skeptical, but together with his friend, decided to test this theory on his daughter, Tanya, who is particularly sensitive to the energy. To his astonishment, he discovered that it worked perfectly. How do you explain this phenomenon? Well, Albert Einstein called spooky action at a distance. And that's what modern physics called it quantum entanglement. So basically, the remote work at distance because of this quantum entanglement theory. And let me tell you that in my personal opinion and what I have felt for the last 2 years, it really works. It's just amazing. Here's an image of the remote from Spooky2. This is a upgraded version. Spooky2 has all the remotes. You might seen it there in the internet or for sale in other places. This is the latest version. It's the most efficient, the most easy to use. It means that if any part of a single system, your nail, is removed from that system to a different location, any action performed on any part of the system will also be instantaneously performed on the parent system. So if you take out your nail and you put it with some frequencies, that frequency will be received also by your body. In this case, the parent system is the body, as I told you before, from which the DNA sample is taken. With the exception of the mature red blood cells, all human cells contain DNA, which is absolutely unique to a single person. It's our fingerprint. So when the energy of the frequencies is transmitted to a small sample containing DNA, like the piece on a fingernail, the effects will be instantaneously transmitted to the entire living organism from which the sample was taken. So basically, you have heard there is no distance for quantum healing. And no time also. It happens at the same time. I'm going to address this in a second so you can understand what's going to happen. Okay? I'm going to keep looking at the questions because I'm going to try to answer them in between. Paul says, you mentioned that if you use molecular weight or a drug, you get the benefit but not the negative side effects. Did I understand correctly? Yes, and actually I will show you in a second. Paul, Spooky2 have a precisely setup so you can avoid any of those negative effects. If you want to use molecular weight, my humble opinion is the best way to use it is with contact. The second best would be with remote. So you can use it, and I can tell you I have used this molecular weight for doing also experiments with bodybuilding exercises. I'm 47 years old, and I put some drugs that usually you would use for bodybuilding. And oh my God, you really got this boost effect. You really feel it in your body. You rest more, you recover faster. It's just incredible. Okay, let me see if there's another one in the topic. Okay, Sandra, we'll send you in a second. If there is no DNA on mature blood cells, should we not use a drop in the remote? Jennifer, I will talk that in a second, but I will also tell you the best. The best of the best you can use in a remote is a nail. So don't try to discover the new rock or the new circle. It's already been there. So use the nails. Don't get complicated on this. They say, have you ever tried using the molecular weight of the zone? No, I haven't. Very interesting idea. I have used molecular weights like the DMSO, DMSM, Allegra, Sirtec, Sircam. Those I have used them and they work. They really do work. Okay. Let me see if there's another question here. Does it matter if you eat before rifing or does it? Okay, this is important. If you're rifing in remote, there is no issues. Remote is the most gentle way to rife. It's the most gentle. If you are having a plasma session or a contact, I will not suggest to eat during or before. Just wait after you have done it. Whatever you should be doing is drinking plenty of water. I love to have a tea like this one. But you can try it, okay? So avoid eating while having rifing if you're using plasma or contacts. If not, it's fine. Antonio, okay, we'll get this. Okay. I am using that my remote for trying because I have a gel. Okay. It doesn't matter, Jennifer. You can use your nails even with gel. The gel is not DNA based. It's not alive, has no carbon then. So you can use your nails with the cover. It's okay. As long as there's a nail in it, you're fine. John explained that very well, but that's basically the answer. Okay, so let me continue. Next, sorry, yes, there we are. Now we're talking about John. John White has been following these developments with increasing interest and excitement. After discussions with Johan and Hank, John decided he will write a new software. That's basically our Spooky2 software. This package will not only embrace the functionality of the previous software, but also allow, this is very important, to put with a single computer up to 126 generators to be run in a single computer. That software was the original Spooky2 software, designed primarily as a remote writing system. But this could be used also as a simple contact or a plasma device. If you want to have more about this topic, you can see the book of Marcelo Allegretti, which I took this part. He gave me permission to explain this from his book. It's really important, so you can see that, okay? So next thing, we always talk about frequencies, but we really know what's a frequency? I didn't understand it, didn't quite get it until my cousin had the time to explain it in a very easy way. For example, if I tell you I'm gonna go to your house every Monday, that's a frequency, because that will be once every week, 4 times a month, or 52 times a year. So when I change the word, how many times I'm going to be, I can change that for with what frequency I'm going to your home. Once every week, 4 times a month, or 52 times a year. As simply as that, that is a frequency. The frequency is an event that's repeated over time. That's basically what it is, okay? That's helped me a lot to understand what's going on. So when you have a frequency, for example, here is what's happening in the time. In this example is 1 second. And then you can understand that you have one cycle. The cycle is 1 positive and then 1 negative. That will be 1 hertz, okay? If you repeat this another time in the same cycle, then you have 2 cycles. So this frequency is 2 hertz, okay? You get it? Please type in the chat if you understand what I'm telling about, because this is all what we're doing, as simple as this. So we are getting frequencies within 1 second, and that's being repeatedly time after time, time after time. So when you see a frequency that's 2,000 or 2 million, that means that event is happening 2 million times in 1 second. I'm gonna jump and go a little faster this time. Sometimes you will see that the remotes are blinking really fast, sometimes really dim, and sometimes they are not blinking at all. Why? Because the frequency they are experimenting in your remotes sometimes is faster than the blinking they have. That's why sometimes they don't have any blinking at all, or they are just steady all the time, okay? So once we understand what's a frequency, we can move on and see it. So here is another example of what I would say is 1 second. You have a positive part, negative, that will be 1 cycle, second cycle, and third cycle. So this means we're having these 3 hertz. So 3 cycles in just 1 second. That's basically it. Now, the next thing you need to understand is we have something called spectrum. That's basically how we measure all the signals, all the frequencies. When you heard this cliche phrase that says everything is a frequency, it's right. That's true. So we have frequencies for everything: colors, audio, light, sounds, microwaves, something invisible, ultraviolets, X-ray, gamma ray. So what's the difference? If you can see here, the smaller or the closer is the wavelength, is the higher frequency, is the higher energy. The biggest is the length weight. Sorry. The biggest is the length weight, is lower frequency, lower energy. So we are in here. We are having these frequencies here. That's why movies and, well, gamma rays that they do exist, or X-rays, they tend to have these negative effects if they apply on the body, because they are higher frequencies with higher energy, and then can destroy our cells. That's basically why you need to put behind these plates when you took X-rays, or you're exposed to gamma rays or radiation. That's basically what's happening to your body. So if you have yourself asked, the frequencies can kill you, yes, they can, of course. Also, if you have a cancer treatment and they expose you to radiation, that's basically a frequency that's burning your body and burning the cancer. So if you have a machine with enough power to do that, yes, they can kill you. So when they tell you, hey, this is crap, you can do that, well, you actually can, and that happens all the time. The thing is, you don't see a machine that's in your home that cannot harm you, but happens every single day with all the machines. Okay, so far so good. Yes, Rochelle, that will be our play. Okay, so now let's go back to remotes. Spooky2 remotes is a device that arouses the greatest surprise in those who hear about it for the first time, like me. How this works? Well, because DNA has 2 strands, it's a helical, it's doing this, coiled one around other, it acts like an antenna that's capable of transmitting and receiving information at the same time, encoded to a scalar energy signals via no local space. This sounds very weird. Let me just put it in a regular way to speak about. Spooky2 remote is basically a small scalar device. It's like the Spooky2 scalar, that's a bigger one. You have a smaller one, which is basically transmitting the frequencies to the scalar device. That's all, okay? That's why you can use a remote for imprinting, like when you use these imprinting stickers. That's why you can use the remote for manifesting, like a radionic machine. And that's why you can also use the remote to send signals to your body through your nails. That is why it's just a small scalar antenna. But that saying a small scalar antenna doesn't mean it's not huge. It's just gigantic, the possibilities, okay? This opens the Pandora box. It's just incredible because when we talk about non-local space, whatever is happening right now, it's happening right now to both, to the nail and to your body. So there is no time, there is no space, there is nothing. That's what's so important. But be aware of something. Remotes are the less energized method you have for sending frequencies. Okay, this is very important because it's not as well strong as a scalar device or as a plasma or contact. So this is like voodoo, mind science, or wizardry from the future. Tony, I want to say you something really, I was very skeptical of this, okay? I'm really skeptical. But something I found in my journey is everything is magic and nothing is magic. And let me explain you that. In the history of the humankind, when science have not explained something, that's called magic. After science can explain it, there is no more magic and it's just science. So everything is magic and nothing is science. I don't know when will be the right time we're going to understand this, but this is the future, okay? I think that the medicine of the future is not based on chemistry. It's based on physics, and this is physics. Just physics, we are not enough evolved to understand, but there is right now, it's working. And the thing that we don't understand it quite well doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means the science has not been able to understand what's happening, okay? Hector Alvarez asks, can you elaborate on remote manifestations? Yes, they work, I have done it, okay? So let me continue with this. This energy received by the DNA contains then relate instantaneously, that word was hard for me, via non-local space to the parent DNA. Today's cell phones use antennas that are exactly the same shape as DNA, okay? So that's basically what the remote is doing. The current remote devices use enormous power of scalar waves, as I told you before, to make this form of a remote transmission even more effective. With the Spooky2 remote, the scalar wave bubbles are formed right where the DNA is sitting. The waves are difficult to measure by orthodox means, as they act as a signal supercharger for both the audio frequency and the energy from the DNA's own transmission capabilities. The net effect is that the signal that reaches the body is clearer and more powerful. Non-local space has been referred as dark energy, dark because it lies outside the electromagnetic spectrum, the one I put you before, so it cannot be observed or measured. Nikola Tesla's called the mind of God. Okay, let me go to the questions. What happens if you use detox that includes mercury when I have mercury in my dental? That's why, Bonnie, there is also one detox method that's called that's called detox terrain non-mercury. You can use that as well. Okay, so let's continue. So how does it work? I have a very special friend which I made in this journey, which is one of these guys that explain and knows way much more than me. His name is Jeff Scalar, and he explained this, and I like this explanation very good. The remote creates a scalar field between two opposing coils. That basically, the Tesla coils are that's basically the scalar machine. The DNA is quantumly entangled because it's you. That's your DNA. Remotes do not create quantum entanglement. Okay, that's important. Magnetic scalar has the ability to unlock the keyhole of the quantum entanglement to write information to the DNA. With your DNA in the remote, the information is written is the frequency that's used to create the field. We know that anything that exhibits the QE reflects changes instantly, no matter the distance. Make a change here and see a result there. And that has also been proved with actual science, with, I believe, electrons or something like that. I don't quite remember the experiment, but if you Google it, you will see that there's actual science that proves this. It is, if the quantum realm, every piece of your DNA is actually a holographic fractal of the same thing. A fractal is something that repeats itself over and over and over and over time. So while we can see it as two separate locations, remote and the target, there's really no distance, and the signal does not need to travel. That is why it's called non-local, no distance, no time. It just happened there. For sci-fi fans, it is as there is a wormhole network between every piece of your DNA and of your body, and what goes in one comes out of all the rest. I might be adding this as well, and this is something really cool way to understand it. What you're getting is not like listening a CD. It's more like downloading to your body the MP3 file directly. Wherever you listen to the song directly, that will be contact or plasma, or download the song to your body, that will be remote, you can still ascertain the details of the song. That's basically what the remotes are doing. Okay? Okay, perfect. So we are good. So you understand basically what's going on with the remotes. I didn't knew all this stuff until I did this presentation, of course, but I tried to do my best to explain it to you, because sounds like magic, sounds like crazy, sounds like voodoo, but actually it happens and it's working, okay? Now, I'm gonna back some slides. I'm gonna show you this also. The remote needs to be hooked to a generator. Some might use the generator XM, the older version of the generator X, which is really a great version of the generator, and the generator X Pro. You need to hook them to any of these generators. You can only hook one booster and remote to a generator XM. You can hook two remotes and two boosters to generator X, or to a generator X Pro. Now let me go back. So when you hook up two remotes, you will see something like this. Something people ask me a lot, and they tell me, well, how many remotes should I have? Something I can tell you, you might never get tired of so many remotes you can have. I will show you in a second how I have my clinics, how many remotes I have. I think I have almost 100 of remotes. And every time I can buy another one, I just buy another one, okay? Let me check questions to keep on going, okay? Please advise how long and how regularly can one use the machine? For this question, I developed an inflammation in my joints. Okay, the machines, the remotes, and the machine's plasma contact is not one size fits all, okay? We need to talk about our own experience. If you use, let me tell you this is important. Dr. Rife, when he was treating cancer, he only used a machine for 3 minutes, one day on, one day off. That was all. He was not hooked to the machine 24/7. Just give you the idea of the powerful machine. Some people experience when they are killing with the machines, they feel this Herx reaction. Basically, they are killing so much that the body starts to feel sick. So what you need to do is to rest. In my opinion, when you are using the machines and you're using plasma, you have one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. And your sessions should never be longer than maybe 1 to 2 hours at the most. And that's a very big session. The only difference or the only exception I found for this is when you are sweeping. If you are sweeping with the plasma, the sweep program would last up to 8 hours. That's the exception of the rule, okay? But since it's not the same frequencies changing all the time, we don't know what it's going to hit. That's why its exception is working so far. So try to not keep it so much time. And the same happened with the remote. The remote in the longer run will start killing, as well as any other method that we use. So don't try to use it so badly that you cannot be doing anything else. Okay. Now, wait, drug benefits program. Okay, if there is a, okay, I can answer this already. The lights of my second X generator have stopped working. The frequency is still running on the generator and the control tab. The remote is still transmitting. Yes, Jeff, I told you that in a second. The difference is basically because sometimes the frequency is so fast that they stop. Also, for those, some of you that has also the plasma machines, you will find out that when you are running a frequency that's very low, usually the plasma machine, well, the light bulb start to making some noises, some beep, beep, beep. That's basically because this frequency is so slow, as I showed you before in this slide here, sorry, here. It's becoming almost a radio wave, okay? So that's why sometimes you hear the plasma ball doing sounds. It's not meant that's not working or it's breaking, just sometimes that happens, okay? Now, any experience success with healing someone with pancreas type 1 diabetes? Yes, I have success with it. But send me a direct message and we can talk it about after the presentation over Facebook, and I can help you with it. Okay, it's not part of the topic. Let me see if there's anything else. Can you tell me how this can help reversal allergy symptoms? Oh, Pam, and it can heal the body so someone is not allergic to many. Okay. Yes, you can use it. That's what I was talking about. You can use, for example, the molecular weight of Allegra. And there are things there, already frequencies there that will help you with allergies, seasonal allergies that will help you. So yes, I will show you in a second, okay? So done this one. To help with cold symptoms using remote, should the programs be run as heal or heal? I will show you that in a second. Spooky has helped us to understand what's healing and killing, okay? But basically you have this doubt, something like you want to kill the virus, but you want to get healed. And sometimes that messes us in our head. So I will show you in a second what's the best way I use for myself. It worked and will eliminate this guesswork. It's healing or killing, okay? So it's already answered. Steve, do multiple generators running in different programs interfere with each other if they are sitting next to each other? No, you can have as many as you have, no issues, and you can run multiple generators in remotes with the same person, okay, no issues. Okay, I have an amalgam fillings in my teeth and I choose detox. I told you before, choose terrain non-violent, and that will have no problem with those. A further question, Jaime. Can a scan identify or search for non-virus, and so can it pop up at resonance? Yes, that's basically what the biofeedback does. It will try to find those frequencies which your body sends a signal and responds to those frequencies. Something important, this is not biofeedback a chat, but the biofeedback is not meant to be a diagnostic tool. It's meant to be a tool for finding frequencies. This is something very important because when I do biofeedbacks in the clinic, at the beginning, I try to run the reverse lookup, and there came some results, and people start to think, oh my God, I got cancer, I got diabetes, I got blah, 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 blah. No, that only means that that frequency can be useful for treating that disease, regardless if you have that disease or not, okay? So when you do biofeedback, forget about it. As if you think like, oh, I'm having this problem. No, the biofeedback is finding frequencies that your body needs. That's all. And it's a great tool. And if you use it with remote, oh my God, you will get very good results. If you use the molecular weight of a drug like Allegra, do you have to do it forever, or the body responds, so you need to run that frequency anymore? Well, no, Christine, because the Allegra is actually a drug that works when you have an allergy. So basically, you run that when you're starting to develop that allergy. Okay, so you don't put Allegra to run 24/7 all the time. What you can do is set up the programs for allergies, detox. Usually when you have problem of allergies, you have problem of detox. And also here in Mexico, there's a good doctor that talks about when you have issues of allergies, is because you have issues with amino acids in your body. I'm not quite very vested in that part. I haven't made more research. I'm just starting to understand that, but that's what it works. Define biofeedback. Basically, biofeedback is what I told you before, David. It's just the way you can use Spooky2 equipment to find frequencies that are good for your body. John usually uses the biofeedback, explaining that it's like a small onion with several layers, and you starting to peel off these layers. This is something important you should understand about biofeedback. By using biofeedback doesn't mean that the body is going to find what you're wanting to find it. Okay, let me put an example. May you have diabetes, for example, but you also have a cold, okay, and you run the biofeedback. The question is your body going to find the frequencies for the diabetes or the cold? Most of the time, the body is going to find the frequencies for what's getting to the body the most troubles in that moment. That's basically how our body works. If you ever get hit in some part of your body, and then you got a bigger hit in another part of your body, your brain stops the signal of the first hit and just focus on the second hit, because your body is trying to focus on what causes the more trouble to your body. So if you're having a big cold and diabetes, and you are worse because the cold, and you cannot breathe, and you have all these mucus and all that, but you run the biofeedback, it's possible that the body is going to tell the machine, hey, I need these frequencies to get rid of this pathogen or this virus. That's what's going to happen. Okay. If 5G in the microwave range, I don't know. I might look for that, but I'm honestly don't know. Are there proven frequencies in preset programs to kill HIV? Proven is a very strong word. Something you need to understand is with these machines, with this technology, and also with the chemistry technology, with the pills, whatever works for someone might not work for another one. And also the results are different. So you need to try it with that person by itself. I can tell you that Spooky2 works. So you need to try it, okay? Jaime said that the blinking lights can go dark during remote session. I thought my NX was not sending the signal remote. I see this only one generator, not the other. I'm running two different programs to the generators. Yes, so does not bother. If you see the LED light of the generator working and having the signals and the numbers changing, it's working, as simple as that. Unless the remote is broken, and that will be very obviously, the remote is working, okay? I have all the accessories, and I'm currently running the RIM protocol using the remote for my husband. I would like to set up my generator X to start doing a biofeedback scan, and then start recommending programs to myself. From what I'm reading, I have turned the currently running generator off before I can start another generator. No. When you run a biofeedback scan, it's Spooky2 software because something very smart to avoid any interaction with frequencies or any noise, that will be the word. It stops all the other frequency generators, so you can have the best reading with the biofeedback scan. But after that, you can use as long as many generators you have or you want. With these general questions here, I need help having my program on any of my computer to recognize my Gen XM generators. I got help to have it recognize my Gen X generator finally, but I spent a long time trying to get help. I downloaded the generators multiple times. I have to replace. Okay, I will address that in a second, but basically, what this works, download the latest version of the Spooky2 software, and when you install it, you will see there that you can add the latest drivers, and that will do the work. Okay. What is the difference between the Gen X and the Pro? I will say that in a second. You will see it. Can I use a picture in the remote? No. Please use a nail for what we're talking about. Can I send those spooky soundtracks to the Spooky2 generators to benefit from the Spooky2 remote? I don't believe it because you need the software. So anything that's on the software, that's what you're going to use. How do I use all the remotes you buy and why? Because I try to help as many people as I can. And for addressing something big like cancer, diabetes, arthritis, you need more than one remote because you need to send several frequencies. Some are healing, some are doing detox. So you need to address it for several ways. So I will tell my best guess will be that for a single user, you will need at least 4 remotes, and that will be perfect because you have frequencies for everything you want to do. Like if you want frequencies for being, I don't know, have a better memory, have a better eyesight, sleep better, have lucid dreams, whatever you wish. So when you're not running the remotes for healing viruses, pathogens, or bacteria, you can use them for being a best human being. So I will set at least 4. What's the difference between Gen X? Okay, sorry. What does this mean if generator error keeps showing on the computer? Sometimes that's happened. I know it's something I don't like. It happens to me also. But that happens because sometimes it's getting noise in the generator and the computer is trying to focus on that, okay? But it will get as soon as possible, as soon as change the frequency, you will get rid of that. Are there proven frequencies in preset programs? Oh, sorry, that's already. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Does Gen X Pro draw a lot of power? I have 5 Gen X Pro and one of the XCM generator. I'm running frequency remotely, non-stop sometimes. Experiencing problems with the laptop freezing at the times and forcing me to shut down. Oh, well, might be that you didn't buy the best computer. Something I want to show you, and I will tell you in a second. In my experience, I'm a very techie guy. If you want to buy a computer for running Spooky2 software, first, buy a computer that's a standalone, okay? Second, a laptop is already good. Third, buy a computer with solid state hard drive. And fourth, very important, a computer with at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. Because the computer will start draining memory, and if you have something like 4 gigabytes of RAM, the computer is going to freeze and it's not going to work correctly. So you can buy any of those computers over eBay for $150 and you're good to go. Okay? If the person has a genetic disorder like the 16th chromosome, does it have any effects on how remote works since it's an issue with the DNA? Well, there is an issue with her DNA, but her DNA is still unique to her, so there is no issue with it. Okay, so as long for the remote still working, it's still her fingerprint. The reason I ask because I can process what he's saying for a fast enough to understand it. I'm a late 70 with that much big. Don't worry, John. Ask as many times as you wish, and I will answer them. Biofeedback instruction is showing biofeedback frequencies range from 76,000 to 152,000 is not 88,000. An explanation there is finding close at morning to Scalar range. Could you elaborate this, how this subharmonic works? Yes, the plasma and the reading also, it's a range of how many frequencies are going to find. What's being found that in that range, there are usually the pathogens that we're trying to kill. So whatever is found there is going to be killed that way. If you need something stronger than that, then you can set it up by itself. The way subharmonics works, it's you start subdividing the frequency. And by music theory, if you subdivide a music or a frequency or a keynote, it's still the same keynote in a lower frequency. So basically, the subharmonics are the way to target the frequencies that are really high to target, and the machines are not enough capable of doing that. What does apply inhibit factor for harmful? Okay, perfect. Inhibit factor for harmful MW substance are basically the way Spooky2 software works in order to avoid all the cons of all the pills you want to take or something. Okay, let me explain myself. This is the way Spooky2 software avoid the negative effects of the pills if you are using them. But the way the Spooky2 is using them is using them as a frequency. So by doing this, you will only have the benefits and not the negative effects, as if you were trying to ingest the drug by itself. If you are suggesting for a more ideal, can you please confirm that we will then need to Gen X Pro? Yes. If you are with enough money in your pocket, you can buy 2 Generator X Pro, or you can buy 4 XM. And basically that's it. I will suggest if you can buy 1 Gen X Pro, for example, if you're in a budget, and 2 XM, that would be better because you're still able to do biofeedback scans with the Generator X Pro and run the frequencies on itself and with the Generator XM. Okay, how about ceramic, titanium, or lead implants, or drug-eluting cardiac stent, kidney replacement? Will there be any contraindications? No, in remotes, no issues, no problems. Some remote frequency sweeps and programs like the DNA dual RJW or killing dual RJW instruct to connect remote to both 1 and both 2 in the Spooky Pulse to combine to 2 outputs. How this connection more than 1 output works? Connection program. The DNA, okay. Spooky2 has done this in a very smart way. In order to slow down the time of the frequencies being delivered to the remote, when you use this kind of setup, the remote will be working at its full capacity and the boost also. And in that way, you will get the faster effect. That's basically what it's doing. Mixing DNA people makes no sense on an intuitive level. We will talk about that in a second. Okay. Then I think it match all those qualifications, but I just works on no. Okay, continue. Jaime, please slow your speech. We'll do that, Sally. Sorry. I have the original Gen X Pro kits and still have problems with biofeedback. I contacted support and straight away you said that there wasn't a problem. Okay, this is a customer service question. I will skip it. John McPherson, my friend has her DNA on the DNA of the guy she got her kidney transplant over 20 years ago. How does detox do safety for her? Well, the detox will be applied to her body, of course, so it will be fine, I guess. Does the DNA in the nail degrade over time? How often we use the new sample DNA? A good way is to change the DNA each month. That will be the best. But sometimes you don't do it or you forget about it. Something really interesting is that the DNA in the nail is covered by keratin. And the keratin protects the DNA for way much time than a month. So the first way will be, if you can change the nail each month, do it. If you can't, you can still use the nails for months or even years, okay? I still have nails for patients for years that they went with me at the very beginning of my clinic and they still needed some kind of treatment. I use the nail and it still works, okay? So try to change it as much as you can see it. I suggest to do it in a month. But if you can't and you have a nail that's a year or 2 or so there, use it. Is good safe to do 24 hours remote healing to people? Yes, no issues. 5 fingernails? No. They are not fingernails preferred over toenails. You can have any nail you wish, Nancy. No toenails, fingernails makes no difference. And there is no difference in the amount of nails you use, okay? Okay, so far I got almost all. You can still continue my questions. And I will go with this. there's a good question of Derek. How do you figure dosage with the molecular weight MW frequencies? For example, if you're going to do a frequency to say Tylenol, how long should you use the frequency for? Well, each time you add a frequency, the normal rate for the time you're going to use that frequency is 3 minutes. Okay. If you want to use the frequency over and over and over until you find a success, there's something important you should know. If you're doing that through remote, I personally will not leave it running 24/7. I will run it for maybe 4 hours and then rest. Okay, unless there is a medication, you need to do it for all the time. Okay, now you need to see it by yourself how you feel. For in the same example, you're doing a Tylenol for a headache. You need to see how you feel, and basically that's the answer. Your body will start feeling really, really easily. Okay. Now let me continue with the presentation. So the next slide, you will see there is a difference between GNX and the XM. Basically, you will see the main difference. The Spooky XM will only be able to run one remote with booster. You will see here two. That's why these all outputs are here. The frequency range, it's up to 5 megahertz, and here it's 40. So does this can get these frequencies? Yes, it can by harmonics. Of course, if you have with more money, then it's better to have the GNX or the GNX Pro. That will be the best. Biofeedback, it uses here Spooky2 Pulse. I don't like Spooky2 Pulse. I will go for Spooky Pulse, but I will go better for current and angle phase with the regular biofeedback. This is not standalone. You can use it only with a computer. Spooky2 Remote, Spooky2 Generator X and X Pro can be used standalone after you set the frequencies with the computer to it. Okay. Now they taught me before difference between the GNX Pro. Basically, the GNX Pro is the latest technology of Spooky2. It has up to 8 decimals. Best amplitude modulation. That means that the frequency is cleaner, and the firmware is upgradable with Spooky2 software when it's needed. That's basically how it's working. Okay. Now, this presentation, what I want you is not to fill you with just theory. I'm going to show you 2 videos. These are official Spooky2 videos that will show how to connect the remote, because at the beginning we are afraid of how this works and how you need to connect. It's really simple. Something I want to tell you, there is no risk to connect the remotes. I've seen in the chat that there are some people that older, they're in their 70s, 60s. Please, please, please avoid the fear of this technology. You can do it. It's really simple once you get hooked on. I will try my best to explain everything to continue with this. So if there is any people that's old and want to ask me something specific, something they're afraid of, you will see there is nothing to mess it up. There is no way you can get harmed. So avoid that and let's do it, okay? Before the video, let's see if there's any questions new. Are there frequencies that cannot be played to the hertz of the range of the generator XM? No, because they always can be run by doing harmonics. Answered. Okay, computer here. They say Paula Baker. It has a Dell computer. Problem issue. 4 gigabytes of memory RAM. No, you need at least 8, and that would solve all the issues you have ever had. So if you can upgrade it, that will be the best solution. Can you run a program too long? Yes. Sometimes if you leave a program so many times, the program can be harmful. Not harmful. Your body gets something called frequency fatigue. That's the term, because it stopped making the benefits you should have. So try always to rest. Don't leave it 24/7 unless it's something like learning programs, something to improve your skills at something, something for chakras, something like that, that's fine. But if you're doing something for killing something, bacteria, rest, okay? Feel your body and rest. Will Spooky2 will help with resonance, sound healing? Of course. Basically, frequencies is part of sound, so yes, we will. How do you do biofeedback? Oh my God, Karen, I would love to teach you that, but that's in a specific webinar. If you look with my name, which is Jaime Tacher and Spooky2, I gave one so you can see it and you can have it down. Okay, it's a little long, but that's the best you can do. It's really good. I'm telling you myself. Gary, you can find more Spooky2 videos on YouTube. Yes, of course, in the channel. They are all there. Okay, we have it here. One is for my elderly parents, this Delia Nagy. One is for my elderly parents, which are overseas. Yes, this will work for them. That's right. My laptop was dying. I read memory and upgraded to an SD drive, and it worked. Yes. So when you're buying a laptop, please buy a Windows PC laptop. Doesn't matter Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11. As I told you before, I'm a very techie guy. Windows 11, in my opinion, works the best. Use it for standalone with Spooky2 only software. Don't mess it with anything else. And please, solid state hard drive. 64 gigabytes are even enough for running Spooky2 software. And in memory, 8 RAM. If you don't buy that, you're gonna have troubles and it's not healthy. So better invest just one time, very wise, instead of upgrading and all that. Well, so let me go with the presentation and I will try to explain it to you as simple as possible, okay? So that's basically how you put it. You will see how we can make it with the generator X. And also, I'm going to show you with the generator XM. Okay, that's basically what you need. Your generator, your cable for the power, the USB cable, you will need the booster, your Spooky2 remote, and as well, you will need your stickers. Any sticker will work. So any sticker will work. Doesn't matter. Don't get in trouble for that. Any sticker. You hook the USB, both parts. After you hook it up, obviously you need to connect it to the power. There is only one cable. Go to the power, connect it. Then you're going to go in the generator 1. You're going to connect the boost. Something important I want to show you. If you see the boost, you will see in the upper part, there are 4 connections. And in the lower part, there are only 2. Sometimes you mess it up and you put it backwards. So be careful about this. Remember, in the upper part are 4 connectors. In the lower part, there are only 2. Okay. Now you need to screw the connectors. So the booster is ready. Then you go for the BM port. That's where you're going to hook up the remote. You hook it there, turn a little, and then you screw it a little again. In that way, everything will be tied up and it will work. Okay? Then we're going to go for the fingernails, which I will show you 2 ways of doing it. But basically, you clip any nail from the toes, from the hand, paste it. Something important there. The less contamination in the nails, the better. So try to avoid having the nails with your hands. Better to buy very small tweezers to have them. and avoid playing with the nails, okay? The best is that the person that's cutting the nail is the person that's going to put them in the sticker, okay? That's something I found it is very useful. You put it in the nail there. A question person asks, the people ask all the time is, how much nail do I need? Usually one single nail is just enough. Doesn't matter how big, how small is the nail. As long as there's a nail, that's enough. Also for something that's not covering this webinar, but when you're doing other protocols, you can even have the polished nail only, and that will work also. So as long as your nail, it has your DNA, and that's all. Then you make a sandwich, paste it really good. Then you put your name. You can use a pen, a Sharpie, doesn't matter. Open the box, put it there. Start the generator. You will see the Spooky2 logo. It will be ready there. Then you go to the computer. And so far, I will stop the presentation here because I'm going to show you this on my live presentation, what we're going to do with the software. Now, the same video. Sorry, let me see here. It's the same video now for generator XM. Same stuff. The USB cable, the power cord, the generator XM by itself, the booster, the remote, and the stickers. Same stuff, plug it in. Then we connect the USB port to the generator with using the USB cable, of course. Then we are going to hook up the booster, the Spooky2 boost. Remember, you have 4 small connections in the top always. And something important here, the generator XM will have 4 connections, but you are going to use only the ones that name out 1 and out 2. That's the only connections you are going to use, always, no matter what. Then you connect your boost, you twist the lock to lock the ports. And then you go for the Spooky2 remote. You go to the BM port that's in the lower left of the Spooky2 boost. You connected them, then you twist, you have it there. And basically, that's all you need to do. After that, you turn on the computer. Well, obviously, you need to go for the nail, sorry. Put the nail, as I showed you before. Clip them. Here you see there are various nails. That's fine, 1 or several, no issues. Then you put it there. Put the name. And goes on the remote. As simply as that. Okay? Turn on the generator. It's ready, then you go for the computer. And that's all. Now, just to be clear, where do you connect the remote? You go here. Okay? Oh, let me see if I got more questions. Yes. Will you please show how to tag the GenX Pro to my computer to get the benefit of a full remote? Just did it. Something very important. In the Spooky2, and I love this, I really love this stuff. In the Spooky2 website, you will see, I'm going to go here so you can see it. This is really important. Under products, all products, scroll down, and you will see here this USB hub 3.0. These ones are really good, are really cheap. I found in other places expensive. I love them because you can hook up to 10, 10 generators in one. So this is a great solution if you are running out of USB ports. If you want to buy it from another brand, of course you are able to, you can do it. Just be sure to find USB port 3.0 because that's the fastest transmission you can have in this kind of USB ports. And that's all, basically. And try also to find the one that comes with a power. Because if you don't get it there, then you're running the computer's laptop power. And some computers have not enough power to run, and sometimes they fail. Okay. Now let me see if there's one. What's the virtual generator and how we use it? You will see it in a second. Raven. What are the top two connectors for? You will use it in another stuff, like for example, when you use other kind of method of delivering frequencies, like for example, you have the steel bars. You can use them with them. Laser, called laser. So that's basically what you're for. What's the setting of the knob? Oh no, for the setting of the knob, you are talking about the generator XM. You don't need to ever touch the knob. Forget about it. The knob there is for another use. Remember, these are generators that will give you frequencies. And these are basically generators that are being designed or modified to run the frequencies of the machines. So if you control a generator and you use a knob and you plug it into another machine that's called an oscilloscope, with the knob, you can modify the wave signal. So that's why it's for there. But in our case, for our uses with Spooky2, you don't need to have the knob for anything. Forget about it. Okay. There were. So far, questions are done, so I will continue. Now it says, let's get practical. We've already seen this. This is another video, but showing basically the same, how to connect them. So I'm going to go for the Spooky2 program. Now I'm going to my Spooky2 software. I'm going to change my computer screen. And please just tell me if right now you are seeing the Spooky2 software. Please tell me in the chat if you are seeing it. Okay. Now this is the most important, valuable part of this. There is nothing logical of having this equipment if you don't know how to use it. Okay, so we're going to learn how to use it the way it's meant to be. Okay, you have these 4 tabs in the top: presets, program, control, and errors. I usually go for utils and toggle the advanced features. I like this way. For me, it's easier. When I started to learn the Spooky2 software, there was only this version, and that's how I learned. You're okay if you have the other part, but just keep in mind that you can do this, okay? Well, first, let's type something here, whatever it's like, migraine. Now let's try cold. Okay, there we are. Something you need to know, you see there's a word next to the frequency. Coil, C is for contact, L is for laser, P is for plasma, R for remote, SS is for scalar, okay? So why are these different setups? Basically because each machine works differently and you have to set up mechanically different, so the frequencies are delivered in a different way. Just to let you know, if you go to settings, each time you modify one of these, sometimes maybe that the waveform is affected instead of a sine, square, or triangular, or whatever you wish. That's basically why these are different presets, okay? You don't need to know them, so don't worry about it. You need to be sure when you load the preset always select the one that is with the R for remotes. That's something really important. So if we're treating cold current strains DNA remote, JW, just be sure to click the one with the NR. When you use the software, if you are new to this, your first way of attacking a disease is by the presets. That will be my best opinion or advice to you. Why? Because the presets get rid of all the guesswork, what to do. Just go for there, type something like, I don't know, sinus, and you will see it, okay? So you will see it, sinus inflammation, sinusitis, acute, remote, sinus inflammation, sinusitis, chronic, remote. Those for C are for contact. So this will be our first line of defense. Same stuff, allergy. Allergies, there you are, contact, or here's a program with remote. Okay, you will see it on the right, usually you will see it on the right a definition of what you are doing and why it works well. Now, what happens if you get more involved and you want to start running your own frequencies? Or can allergies be used on a dog? Of course, you can use on a dog. Of course, you can use, as well as you can kill cancer in a dog or everything. Basically, we are mammals, and this works on everything. Okay. Oh, here's a question here. Let me go back to allergies. No, what's called? A question says, I thought remote uses Scalar. Why it's an R, a node, and S? Well, the question is very simple. Because SS is for the Scalar machine. It's for Spooky2 Scalar, okay? R is for remotes. Even though they both work on the same principles, they are not the same machines, and you need to set up in a different way. That's the answer. Good question, okay? Okay, let's continue. Someone asked, can I have my brother in London, England, mail me a fingernail, and I can then address his health issues from North Carolina? Yes, and there is no distance. If you live in England, that's fine. New Zealand, that's fine. Wherever you want, there is no distance. As long as you have his nails, you're ready to set up. Well, now, what will happen if you are a more experimented user and you want to start playing with all these frequencies? What I found is that I go to shell. The shell is the way the program defines just something empty, purely empty, into which you are going to put something in. Imagine a shell like a basket. You are just picking up the right basket for the right treatment you're going to go. Imagine you're going to Walmart, and if you're going to buy only groceries and there are small groceries, just apples, maybe your basket is a small basket there. But if you're going to Walmart and you're going to buy big boxes, then your basket will be a cart. And if you're going to I don't know, to Costco, and you're willing to buy a 65-inch TV, then your basket will be a very big cart. That's the one that are just plain, and you put stuff over there. That's basically what the shell is. It's just the basket, okay? Imagine it like that. Then into that basket, you're going to tell the program what you are going to use that basket for. So you can choose for contact, for plasma, for remote, or scalar. In this case, we're going to go, well, you have other options here, of course, Footbath General, Spooky2 Audio, Spooky2 Coil, and Spooky Cold. So we're going to go then to remote. Then you are into remote, so you already tell the program, hey, this basket is going to use remote programs. That's basically it. Then you have all these options. So this is overwhelming. Being honest, like, what the hell is going to happen here? Anthony Hoyland, DNA dual, DNA R, GX, XM. It's too overwhelming. The easiest way to get rid of any troubles, if it's killing, it's healing, it's DNA, whatever, just go for universal square H-bomb R. This will do the trick for anything you want. If you're killing, if you're healing, it will work. Let's read it. This is a remote mode shell preset containing no frequencies. It's a basket. This preset is suited for killing or healing. If in doubt, you can use the preset with confidence. Yes, we are in doubt. We are overwhelmed, so let's go for this. The Spooky2 remote provides a convenient way to send frequencies from any distance, sandwich your DNA in some paper tape, and place into your Spooky remote. Choose the programs you wish to run and start the generator. DNA entanglement transfers the frequencies directly to your DNA. This preset has been designed to loop continuity until stop. Something really important, because the next question is going to be, how do I do to set up these remote frequencies to run 24/7? This will do it by itself. So there is no guesswork, no worries. Connect your Spooky remote to the VM port of the Spooky Boost. So far, we understand what's a shell, just a basket. Then we go to remote, and then we go to universal square H-bomb. That's it. Once you have done these 3 steps, double click this, and you're set to put everything you want in your basket. Okay? Then I go to programs. Why programs? Because here are all the programs I need. Something you need to understand is, for example, 12 minutes here. Usually the frequencies are set to run non-stop for 3 minutes and change, and change, and change. 3 times, 3 minutes by 4 times, 12 minutes. Same here, 1 frequency, okay? That's usually the setup. Sometimes, for example, here, 40K general is set up for 15 minutes. Why? Because it's a frequency that's very beneficial and that will not harm. So that's why it's working, everything, okay? If you hit, for example, here of negative thoughts, you will see the list continue, and even it will go faster than this part. So you can start putting in your basket whatever you want. So please put any subject on the chat you want to address, and let's do a live example. This is your chance to know what frequencies to use for if you have any disease. Oh, weight loss, that's a good one. I have a program for weight loss. I might share it in a second with you. MCA, slim. Okay, let's start showing you how it works for weight loss. Let me see if I have it here. Imagine what I'm going to do. This is not part of the presentation, okay? Let me just check something here. This is not part of the presentation, so you don't need to be here. No, I don't have it here. Okay, I will go for weight loss in a second. So let's go back to the presentation. We go to shell, remote, and then we go to the universal square H. Okay, then we go to programs. Now, what you need to do first is do a small research of what you are doing, okay? So let's go for first thing first, weight loss. Weight loss. So let's see what's here. Okay. No, this is not what we want. So let's go for weight. No, I don't like it. So obesity. Okay. So we have fat obesity. We select the frequency we want. We just click the plus, fat obesity, we click the both. Now we have here obesity 1 and obesity 2 and eating disorders. The other thing I can do is I highlight the tree with the shift key and the arrow down, and then go for the plus. So we are seeing here eating disorder. So we're going to go to see eating. Now let's see. Detox no. Here, eating disorder, including anorexia, will work, even not excessive. Now we're going to go for what else we have here. Obesity and eating disorder, we already have it. I think that's fine. Now let's do something logical like metabolism. We need to increase our metabolism. So let's see, we have something, fat energy metabolism here, adiposity. Now to be also, well, I'm a male, of course, so we need something about testosterone. I think that's the way of testosterone. Okay, here, normalize the levels of hormone disorders, because I know that will make me burn the fat faster. And let me look for burn. So let me see if there is a detox. Okay, fat burn, here it is. Okay, so I'll withdraw this all. Something important here. If you see here, there is an estimated total runtime of 7 hours. Very important. The rule: if you're making a remote program, the remote program should be repeated a day at least 6 times. If you divide 24 hours within 6 times, it means your program should not be more than 4 hours length. The first thing that's going to happen is we have a 7-hour program here. So I'm going to go for, check this, which says remove duplicate frequencies. The program was actually 10 hours length. If you hit here, it lowers down up to 7 hours. So it's a very big program. So I need to start taking out frequency. Oh my God. Well, let me put them here back. Well, that will be the example. That will be, double click will be enough. So I start to taking out frequencies until I am below 3 hours and 39 minutes. That will be great. Okay. So by doing that, we are sure the program is going to repeat itself at least 6 times. So between 3 and 4 hours, you are perfect. Okay. After you have your program, like here, you can do something like go to presets tab. You can go to this diskette. It's the setting item. Click it. And then you're going to have this window. Then you're going to be in this, how do you call it? Sorry, can you give me a second? Oh, no, it was a phone call, but give me a second, please. Just give me a second. My bad, sorry. This is live, and there was knocking on the door, and it's raining here, so I need to get answered that. Sorry. So once you hit the saving button, you can save your frequencies. For example, let's put here fat burn. Fat burn. I suggest that you put an R, so you know you made a program for this, and the next time you need to use it, you know it's a remote program, because with the time you're going to make programs for contact, for plasma, coil, PMF, laser, or whatever you have. So it's better to be ordered from the very beginning. If not, it's going to be a mess. Believe me, that happened to me. Okay, and you save it. So the program's already saved. Then you will see the content of the programs here, FatBurn. These are the programs we made. Everything's clear. If you wish to change the order of the presentations, of the frequencies, just hit this button, and then you see it will go up and down. Why would you like to change the order? Maybe that's the way you are copying a program and somebody told you that's the correct order, or you want to address some issues first and then make a break, for example, because you can put frequencies for that are going to kill bacteria, and then you want to put the detox in the medium, so that's perfectly fine. So after going to programs, then we'll go to control. Now, someone was asking me why there were like these generators in the computer. Basically, if you see, I have 127 generators, actually 126. Why? Because these are virtual generators. This means my computer, the one I'm using right now in my home, is not my clinical computer. I don't have any generators here. And why? Because it's the biggest space in my house. I can give this presentation. I have another computer in my bedroom, which I use for this, of course, but it's not good enough for the presentation. So I rather want to be here. That's why you are seeing all this. Well, if you have only generator X or XM or a generator X Pro, you will see just 1, 2, or 3 maybe generators of these squares there. Something important to know. At the beginning, I was very frustrated. Windows assign the number of the generators randomly, and it depends in everything you have hooked up on your computer. So if it says generator 5, 8, and 12, doesn't matter. Being honest, unless you have these talk disorders, you want to have everything in line, but being honest doesn't matter at all. The number is just a number to identify the generator in the computer. That is just everything. That's all. So it doesn't matter. So for the purpose of this presentation, let's imagine we have only number 10. That's the only thing that appears in the machine. So I go here, overwrite generator. That means that the program I have just made is going to overwrite whatever is on generator 10. So basically right now, I just loaded the program into generator 10. You will see it here, generator 10, the name, Fatborn R, the name I put it, and you will see the 4 frequencies we found here and the runtime. That's basically everything. Then you hit start, and you're done. The program is running 24/7 until you stop it. It's that easy. So let's see another example from the one you put it here. Let me see what else we can put it here. Okay. So, tinnitus. Let me see what's about tinnitus here. If we have enough tinnitus, I think we have some ear conditions. Okay, yes. Like for tinnitus, we go to shell. Remember our basket, remote, universal square H. Then we go to programs. We look for tinnitus, and we start looking for the programs we need. Ear conditions, ear diseases. I have selected in my computer the kickoff control, so I can put several things in this. Here it is, tinnitus. I'm gonna hit the plus button to see how much time this is there. 2 hours and 12 minutes. Okay. So that's basically what we have here. And let's suppose that we have tinnitus, and we also have here an issue with sore throats. Okay. We have both. So sore throats can be a problem of bronchitis, angina throat, catarrh, and cold. Okay, let's see how much time we have here. 5 hours and 22 minutes. So we are starting to range in the more than the 4-hour time. So we start to simply take out some of these frequencies until we are in 4 hours range. 4 hour 15, it's perfectly fine. Doesn't be exact the 4 hours. You just use your best judgment to make this. And for some issues, let's see, we think that our sore throat is now worse than our ear condition. So we want to lower these ones because we want to start with our sore throat. So we put it here and then we are. Now let's suppose, I don't recommend this, but let's suppose you don't want to save the program. You just want to go straight. Why I don't recommend it? Because experience has taught me that in the past that you usually came back to the programs you use, okay? So better make it just once and it works than in the next time, within 1 month, you have another call, then you start doing everything like right now and you're feeling bad. So it's better just to have saved it. But let's suppose you don't want to save the program, just want to go straight ahead. Then you go to control, okay? The generator must be off. That means must be in this kind of pinkish color or light red color. We go to override generator, go to number 10. You will see here universal square H bomb R instead of the name of the program because we don't save it. And we hit start. And there you are. That's all. Okay. So far, so good. You got it, how you need to do the programs? Please put it on the chat because this is the most important part of our presentation. Perfect. That's what you need to keep of this, okay? And as simple as that is the way you are going to use it. What happens if I have another generator? No, someone asked, can universal H1 preset can be used in a standalone? Yes, once you load it, it's no issue. Okay. You need to review, yes, you will have this saved, but it's really easy. Now let's suppose another member of your family is having another issue, no? So let's put it here. Let's go back. And someone else have another issue like it says toe fungus. Okay, let's go. Now let's do something more interesting. Like toe fungus, like let's put here fungus. Okay. So, well, this was not what I was hoping to have because I don't know if you know, but you can treat. Okay, let me see. What's interesting what I found. I was not expecting this, being honest. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if this is the right frequency or not, but let's suppose it is, okay? Because I put this in an example in this slide. So you have molten fungus A or B. Oh no, this is the B. No, let's use something else. Now let me change the example, please. Okay, pain. Okay, there we are. Pain. So we're going to look, for example, for something for pain. Here it is, cancer sore, internal Crohn's disease. Now we want something for just for pain. So let's see if there's something. Okay. Palliation of pain, that will work. So let's think we want to use this frequency, palliation of pain. But let's just imagine that this is not enough. Let's see how much time it takes this one. I just double click it, go for control. And let's suppose our second generation was the number 3. I go to override generator, number 3. And we see this takes only 15 minutes. So we want to stack more programs into that, okay? This is something very important. So let me see. No, they asked me about the fungus. Is there anything wrong? No, but for the example, it's not good because what I want to show you is how to make a chain of programs. And with that, was not going to be able to do it because I want to find more stuff of it. So we have this pane R. I'm going to put it back here. And I'm going to go to the home. Then I'm going to go to shell, remember? I'm going to go to remote. I'm going to go to universal square HR. Double click it. Program. And then we're going to try more programs about pain. Okay? Now, let's suppose you have abdominal pain. So we're going to put here and here, acute pain, analgesic pain relief, analgesic, anti-pain, and let's suppose that's all. 2 hours and 9. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, if you see I have the programs here, the programs I've just selected, in the Programs tab, I go to Presets, I save it as I teach you before. I'm going to go Pain, Remote, save it. And now, if I go to this with user, you will see there's the word pain there. Now, I put it here. And if you see, I have the first sequence I found on the Spooky2 remote Spooky2 database of the presets, palliation of pain, sorry. And I have the program, we just made it. So I'm gonna save this here, the save button. And I'm gonna name it pain chain remote. So it's gonna disappear, it's fine, but it's gonna appear here, pain chain R remote. So when I click it, you're gonna see color indigo. That was the first program. And here you will say color indigo, color violet, color purple. That's basically this program. And after that, it's gonna go for paint R, which is our other program. So I'm chaining, I'm linking 2 or 3 programs, or as many as I want to address one condition. If I don't found that everything on the presets is exactly what I wanted. Was this clear or was not very clear? Okay, so basically, don't overthink it or overdo it. What I did was just change 2 programs. One that was already made, and the other that I did. And I link it to make just one program. Okay. I don't want to make too big, but you want to make another example, or you're okay? Okay, let's continue. Okay, another example. One more. Okay, let's go for, let's go directly into the DNA database. Okay, for example, cold, remote. Okay, so the database has cold, current strain, DNA, remote. Have it there, and I'm gonna add it. It's ready. Okay. Okay. After you added the code here, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to the home. I'm going to go to shell, empty presets, our basket, remote, universal square HBOM, and then go to programs. And we're going to look for code. Okay, sorry, in programs, my bad. Code. And we want to start looking for the programs no more than 4 hours. So we have 4 hours and 43 here. It's a little longer. If I only have one remote, I will leave it. I got back to presets. And since I got this program with these 6 frequencies, I'm going to save it. The name is going to be called remote. Okay? Then I go to the house again. Then I go to user. And here is my program. I save it as called remote. So I click it and I add it. Now you see here presets to chain. There are 2 presets now are chained. Now I save them as called chain remote. Now we have linked this Spooky2 software plus the one I made it. So he should be called chain remote. I double click it. I go to control, override generator. I override generator 3 and hit start. And now the computer is running first the Spooky2 sequence of the preset and then is running the program I made. Okay? Rose, I told you before, I don't want to be part of kill and heal. The easiest way, just always use remotes and go for universal square H mount. That will be it. Well, now let's continue. Let me see any issues there. Necessary. Hi, if a program runs less than 6 times a day, can we speed it up by running and reducing the dwell multiplier below 1? Thanks. No. Leave it running and you better have another remote. Hi, if a program runs less than 6 times, okay, I already asked it. Answer it, sorry. Did the program overwrite the other program on generator 10? Yes. Okay, no. Generator 10 is working with the first program we made. That program has not been overridden because we put the other program on generator 3. So when you have multiple generators, that doesn't mean that the generator is overwritten. Just continue working with that. The only way I can override generator 10 is to stop it and then load the program. For example, I go to users and the pane. Go to control and overwrite it. Okay. There we are. There we are. Universal H-bomb preset programs is fully used on Genix standalone. Yes, I answered it already. Do I use universal square H-bomb for chronic line? Yes, I told you before. That will solve any issues. Non-small cell squamous cell carcinoma of lung, but I didn't know what was the answer. Now let's hear. What's the difference between hunt and kill and universal square bond? They have nothing to do with them. Hunt and kill is a protocol for hunt and kill, and universal square bomb is a frequency for anything. So it's guaranteed to work. Why does the site say it doesn't treat or cure? Well, it's not guaranteed to work. As I told you before, this will work with some people and with some people don't. You need to try it. Okay. If we load the chain onto the GenX and shut down the computer once we select the program, we can loop it repeat continuously? No. If you want to load the program into generator X, first you need to, I cannot show it right now because, okay, let me see here. Yes. If I have a program here, for example, I need to go here to load GX. And once I'm there, I need to select where I want to put the program. For example, number 1, then I save it. And now I can unplug the computer and run the generator standalone. Okay. Okay, let me just finish. Let me continue because it's taking so long. We are almost 2 hours. I knew it was going to go hard, but let's continue. Okay, now something important. What can be used as DNA sample? You can use nails, saliva, swab of the cells of your cheeks. You can use blood or the roots of your hair. Roots of the hair. It will hurt a little, so better than nails. Can urine be used as DNA sample? Urine now itself does not contain DNA, but it may contain cells of pathogens and other things that have been removed from your body on the side. And so it may be able to use it, but it's not the idea. Does the amount of nail clipping that you put on the remote matter? Isn't the more the better, or was one nail enough? The answer is, it doesn't actually matter how much of a nail you put. You can have a tiny amount of nail as an example, and it still works just as effectively. Can fingernails from different people be used together in the same remote? The fingernails can be used together, but we recommend that you treat each person individually, not as a group. Also, if you need to be treated with the same group of nail, you will be using the same program to all of them. How do I set the machine to run remotely and non-stop? You connect the remote to the generator and just set it to run. What's the youngest age to treat someone with remote? We recommend that you wait until the child is 7 years old before you do any treatments using a Spooky2 remote in the child. If the child is younger and they do have a problem that needs to be sorting out straight away, you can maybe try, but keep a good eye on the child and make sure that there is no adverse effect. You can use gentle programs like healing programs, which will help the child to overcome these problems. How long should I use the Spooky2 remote? I mentioned earlier, Spooky2 remote is a very gentle form of treatment. It's the most gentle form of treatment you can possibly use. The frequencies that have passed through the tissue to get to where the problem is. The frequency information is directed directly into each of your cells with the DNA. So this means zero collateral damage. So it's safe for you to use it continue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, some programs like detox programs release toxins into your body. So you need to monitor your body if you're feeling unwell because of the frequencies, the program that you're running. Then you can stop running your program and wait a little until your body to recover. So you can run it 24/7, but if you're running a program for a problem which is not very severe, you can use it as loop several times and then stop it, as there is no hard and fast rule. Generally, if you run one program, you run to several loops because Spooky2 remote is such a gentle form of treatment. You know it's wise to apply the same program several times over your body. That's why I call the rule of 4 hours, which I explained it before. How many remotes can be used at the same time with the same person? There is no limit. How do indication lights in the work on the remote? Why are sometimes blinking and sometimes they are on all the time? And sometimes they are very dim? The intensity of the lights in how they behave is purely detected by the program is being run. If you're running a very low frequency program, the lights are blinking dimly. And if you're running a very high frequency program, the lights will be on all the time. And if that's a very, very high frequency, the lights will be dim because the lights aren't fast as the generators. Sometimes the waveform that the preset uses is different. So it may see that the light come on dimly and gently go brighter. On other times, you may find the lights come on and off very suddenly. And all of this is perfectly correct. Spooky2 remote will work at the same efficiency no matter how far away the person is from the generator. Yes. Its efficiency is no matter how far away you are. Distance is irrelevant. A lot of other users have treated families or friends who are in other countries. If you're able to go to the moon, you're still able to be cured. Now, this is how I stack my nails of my family, my mom, my girlfriends, my kids, my girlfriend's kids, mine, my girl, my mother-in-law. This one that says todos means we are all there, all of the family there. But something really important, if you stack several nails in one clip, be sure they are not touching each other. That's very important. Now, something you need to know, at the beginning, I stack the nails here like a sandwich, but I'm Mexican, so right now I changed sandwich for a taco. And it's better because if I want to put two persons with the same treatment, then the other half of the taco is the other person, and the nails will not never touch each other. What to buy? Here it is. You need a portable Generator X Pro remote, or you can use the XM. Both of these are just the best way to approach remotes. Computer, I told you before, 8 GB of RAM, SSD, any Windows operating system. Please do not complicate yourself. Do not buy a Mac. I know they can run on Parallels, they can run on Boot Camp, but you will only complicate your life, and you are using this because you want to correct an illness. So let's make technology work for us, not us work for the technology. Now, where to buy? You know where's the Spooky2 mall. That's the place to be. These are some of the remotes I use, so you can have them all together, stack them. You see this stuff here. I used to stack them. You go to Amazon and just buy a rack for pans, the ones you use in the kitchen, and then you put it there. That's the easy way to rack them and avoid the tilt. So that's the easy ways to rack them. You can see you have them anywhere. I just number some of them to make them easier to find. The only sad part is the cables you see in the bottom. There is no way to get rid of them, but downsides. Then I want to thank you all and tell you happy birthday, Spooky2. We are running into April, the month of happy birthday, Spooky. Let me just see if there's anything I missed in the questions. Okay, there improved frequencies, blah, blah. What's the virtual generator? I put what was that. Recording the class will be recorded. Can we download videos from Spooky instead of YouTube? I don't think, well, you can download it with any YouTube downloader, but that will be there. How do you determine the dosage of a molecular wave? I told you before, you need to be seeing it. I know this one weird, but have you been looking up programs to help me boost my greenhouse garden? Oh, that's great with Scalar, where I can find it. Is there any way to do a remote program with the booster with the plants? John, what I suggest is put some money in a Scalar machine and put the plants between the Scalar machines. You will be impressed how big they go. I read you could put an insect in the remote with the whole colony to be killed. Well, yes, it's true. It's not like the whole colony is going to be killed, but you will reduce the insects. A lot of people are using that. I can address that in the next part. It worked. It really worked. What's the use of the amplitude? No, that's not part of this. Can you use contact on animals? Yes, but you will have to have their fur gone. So there is only skin there, so you can place the ThinkPad over there. So better use a remote or the plasma. For a Scalar, is it good to limit programs to 4 hours? Yes. Can you erase one program only in Linux Pro and Stress programs? I erase every program. No, you can erase just one single program or update one or more programs. Please go over how to run biofeedbacks on remote. That will be another webinar. It has to be very precisely, or you can run my webinars on YouTube, and there I address that. When you chain together multiple programs to be a length around 4 hours, it will run continuously until stop manually. Yep. Thank you very much, Sally. I love your work for you. Thank you. I use Lenovo AMD. Why do you not know? No, you can use AMD machines or Pentium or Intel. That doesn't matter. Just do not buy Macs. That's what I said. Where we'll be able to see record the video. Yes, you will. Thank you. And basically it's everything. If you want to contact me, let me show you my Facebook. Give me a second. If you have any special issues you want to address or something, let me just show my Facebook in a second. Okay. I just went to Disney with my kids, so we went to Universal Studios, so that's why this Mario here. But I'm like this, Jaime Tacher. You can send me any message. I usually reply them. We can work it out, give you any other solution, so we can talk something about that's nothing here. Okay. Well, I think that will be all. I want to thank you everything and all of you for being here with me. It's very important for me to know I'm doing something good. And whatever you need, just send me a message. I will see it. And of course, I will answer for you. And we can see if we can work something together if you have any particular others. Thank you for everything. I'm going to stop the webinar now. And that will be all. Okay? God bless. See you.